Thank
Okay.
you. So it appears we're live, Andy.
All right, then let's call this meeting to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America,
to the
republic for which it stands,
stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor Maglio,
I am here.
Trustee Berkshire,
Here,
Trustee Icoltz. Absent. Trustee Domke,
I'm here.
Trustee Poleski,
here,
Trustee Sarno,
here.
Trustee Trejo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Can I have a motion for this evening's presentation of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
Trustee Domke,
Aye.
Trustee Poleski,
Aye.
Trustee Sarno,
Aye.
and Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move right into public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening? And just for the public, everything is being viewed. We're doing this virtually, and it's all being done on the village's YouTube web channel, so they can view this. So we have no public comments. I'm sorry.
I have no public comments received prior to the meeting.
Can I make a public comment now?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is Dave Stitcher. How is everybody there?
Good.
Good. I'd just like to say thanks for all you guys doing these hard times. And stay safe and have great holidays coming up.
Thank you. Same to you.
Can
Thank
we
you,
give David an award, please, Mr. Mayor?
It's good to hear a positive note. It really is. Thank you very much for making that comment.
It's
Okay,
a thankless job.
if there are no other public comments at this time, let's go into the officials and staff report, and I am there first. As the mayor, I would ask for a motion to adopt the resolution extending the declaration of a local state of emergency approved by the village board on November 9th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, I see none. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
Trustee Domke,
Aye.
Trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
Trustee Sarno,
Aye.
Trustee Poleski.
Aye.
Okay, then I would ask for a motion to open a public hearing for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021 proposed budget.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, and we are in public hearing for that then,
Need a roll call.
please?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
Trustee Domke,
Aye.
Trustee Sarno,
Aye.
Trustee Poleski,
Aye.
and Trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Okay, and then Tom or Jeff gonna take this one? Tom?
Yeah, I will. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and the board. The first public hearing we have is for the proposed budget for 2021. We were able to work on this again, and overall general fund revenues, just as an overview, general fund revenues exceed expenditures by $2,345. And the FY21 budget reflects an anticipated reserve level of 6.28 months, exceeding the village's policy. Revenues are anticipated to decrease 48,940 from the 2020 budgeted revenues. And 21 general fund expenditures are proposed to decrease 44,050 from the 2020 budgeted. Many factors go into these decreases, obviously the pandemic being one of them for the decrease in proposed revenues. We have some increases in salaries, IMRF, police and fire pension contributions, and then decreases in part-time salaries, the revenue sharing, IRMA charges, commodities, and the transfer to the equipment replacement fund. Page 2 of the packet that I've included shows the water and sewer operating fund revenues budgeted for just over $7 million. And the budget does not include a rate increase for fiscal year 2021. So for the third year in a row, rates do not change. Pages 2 to 3 of the packet, just an overview of the capital improvement programs that are sprinkled throughout the budget. Stormwater projects, public works building improvements, fire station maintenance and repairs, some sidewalk replacement program, the street light replacement program, some improvements to the Metro parking lot, and there's 650,000 for the SIP, the street improvement program, 200,000 for Main Street improvements, 120,000 for the surface transportation program, and then some various other pavement work that gets done throughout the year. And in water sewer capital, we continue the water main replacement program, some Botterman facility improvements, finishing up the Devlin project, just over $1.6 million, and then some engineering for the sewer side. And this notice, the notice for this meeting was published Wednesday, November 25th, 2020, and that is on the last page of the packet. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Anybody?
I got a quick one.
Please.
So I just want to say thanks for staff's time in terms of taking a look at this and, you know, sharpening the pencil a little bit to make sure that we are balancing the budget. And then the only other comment I will say is that, well, two comments. Number one, I'm glad that we're able to freeze water rates again. I know we had anticipated another increase, but we were able to freeze that. And then the only other comment is I'm glad that the village reforestation plan was able to stay in so we could keep going with that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Background noise somewhere from somebody, Jason. So
Yeah, I'm hearing it too. Sounds like it's gone.
I muted
okay. Yes.
the resident on the call.
Okay.
All right. Right. Anybody else? Okay. We have no public comment on that. Then I need a motion to close our public meeting then.
So moved.
I'll second that.
And Madam Clerk?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Okay. I would ask for a motion to open a public hearing for the fiscal year ending 2020 proposed tax levy.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if I could, please, again.
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno.
Aye.
Okay, and I believe, Tom, you're up again.
Yes, I am. The part 2 of the Tom Show. So this is the second public hearing, obviously, of the tax levy. In the packet tonight, I've included a public hearing packet for the audience. This year, for 2020, we will be we propose a tax levy of $6,100,415. This would not be the final levy. Obviously, this is what the board would approve, and the county clerks will take a look They automatically adjust the levy request because the village is under PTEL, the Property Tax Extension Limitation Law. Therefore, we cannot go beyond the 2.3%, except for the new growth. There's also the limited tax bonds. The levy request includes $270,100 for the 2016 limited tax bonds. In your packet, I have several charts that I will not bore you with, but basically they are the levy history over the last several years. You can see the biggest thing in these charts is our EAV continues to increase. And, that's been a very positive sign. Obviously, it goes up and down here and there, but again, there was a 3.6% increase from 2018 to 2019. I would anticipate that would be continuing into 2020. DuPage County, we get those early in the spring. Cook County, we don't get those until June or July. So I won't be able to report those to the board until I get those. And that can be done probably at mid-year budget. I can include that in that presentation. Page 3 of the packet, I have the EAV by category. It just shows increases percentage-wise for DuPage County between the residential, commercial, industrial, and then there's no more farm and railroad really. Well, there is, but it's very small. The biggest jump, not including farm, is on the commercial and industrial side. Those both increased over 4%. On page 4, just a chart showing residential makes up the bulk of the village's EAV, and just seeing how it's come back in these last several years since the downturn in 2008, 2009. Cook County, page 5, just the residential and commercial. Again, there was a bigger jump in Cook County. Both were over 14%. Residential being 85% and commercial being about 14% of the EAV. And then a chart after that showing the same numbers. And then the last 2 pages are just a breakdown for the public where they can see where your tax dollars go, not only in the village between all the taxing bodies, but in how it's distributed in the general fund. And then finally, the last page is the public hearing notice that was published in the Daily Herald Wednesday, November 25th, 2020. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody? I think the chart at the end, Thomas, is always very, very helpful for public, and I know we use that in our e-newsletters and our publications. So thank you once again for bringing that out to everybody's attention. Anybody else got anything that they would like to add? Wayne?
Yeah, I need the 10 cents on the dollar kind of thing. 10 cents of a dollar's tax is all the village gets.
Right.
So there's many other bodies that are getting way more of our tax dollars.
We should be proud as a team of what we do with that
Yes.
that percentage. So,
Yes.
okay, anybody else? Then I would call for, if there is nobody else, a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second, Lee again.
Patty, if you, Madam Clerk, if you would, please.
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
Okay, then I would ask for a motion to pass an ordinance adopting the fiscal year budget for 2021.
So moved.
Yeah, second it. Second, Lee again.
Any other discussion then? Madam Clerk, please.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
and trustee Poleski.
Aye.
Okay. Our motion is carried for the 2021 budget. Staff, congratulations. What an outstanding job you did presenting that and getting it to us and getting it in order. Very proud of all of you for doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then I would ask for a motion to pass an ordinance authorizing the levy and collection of taxes to the general corporation purposes for the fire protection, police protection, Illinois municipal retirement, and paramedic service, debit service, police pension, and fire pensions for the fiscal year commencing on January 1, 2021 and ending December 31, 2021 for the village of Roselle, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? And Madam Clerk, could we recognize that Trustee Eichels is with us now, please?
Yes, I see that. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion, Madam Clerk, there was no discussion. Can I have a roll call for that motion?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
and trustee Eichholz.
Yes.
All right. And then our motion is carried. I would open the floor for discussion. Previous resolution adopting the village board placing a referendum of whether the village should become a home rule unit of government on the April 6, 2021 consolidated general election. Tongue-tied, couldn't spit it out. I need somebody to make the motion to open that discussion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and a roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who made the second? Okay. Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
and trustee Eichholz.
Aye.
Okay, Thomas again, where are you?
Want me to take this, Sandy?
Please, Jeff, go ahead.
Yep, based on some preliminary discussion at the November 23rd meeting, staff worked with the village attorney to number one, prepare a draft resolution that would withdraw and repeal the previous resolution adopted on August 10th that would place the home rule question on the April 6, 2021 election. But we also provided some background information. Trustees had asked, what type of information would staff embark on as it relates to an information and education campaign for the public. So we provided a calendar there for board discussion. So we'll turn it over to you now.
All right. Who would like to go? Anybody have any comments they would like to make? David, please.
Yeah, I appreciate the response. And, I think it's a really aggressive schedule, and I think it's what we need to do for the residents to understand the issue in its fullness. I guess the one thing that I still have my biggest concern on, I obviously was a huge proponent of putting this on the ballot and letting our residents vote on it. I just feel with the intensity of the pandemic increasing lately, and with the Avgeris project now being kind of moving out into January for action, and the amount of work that's going to take in addition to other things that are going on right now, I just worry, are we spreading ourselves a little bit too thin, and how well are we going to be able to execute against it? I think I have the utmost faith in staff in doing whatever we ask them to do, and this would happen. However, I just worry about, is this going to be the saturation that we need to make sure that the public is going to have all the information and necessary to vote on this matter? And so appreciate the additional information. I don't know, Jeff, and I know this is kind of hard to kind of do off the cuff, but like, how much work and effort do you think this is going to take to pull off what you have, and how confident are you in our ability to hit the notes on all those things?
Well, staff's in the middle on this one. Certainly we have a lot of things going on right now, and you named one of them that's very important. That said, I think we have a number of different staff here that could do what is necessary. That's why we outlined in the memo packet what some of those things would be. Clearly, we've already started with the website and the fall newsletter, but we begin in earnest looking at the winter newsletter to be out in January. And then some of the things actually that Home Rule Feasibility Committee recommended with the virtual town hall. So yes, we are busy. But with all due respect, I think we could do what we needed to do, but understand the direction of the board.
Anybody else have a comment?
I'll go. So just in my opinion, I do have full faith in the staff as well to provide the public with the necessary information that they need to make an informed decision on home rule. I do think that when Trustee Pulaski and I were named to the home rule committee, we wanted to have the vote this November, this past election. I know there was some concern with getting that information out, and we all agreed, or I guess I voted against agreeing to move it to April, but it was a 5-1 vote. The compromise was that we would have it on the April election. I think if we have staff put a YouTube video together where it's maybe Andy, maybe has an introduction, Jeff and Tom do a YouTube video that's, whatever, 20 minutes, we publicize it. We have a lot of good followers on Facebook. We have over 3,000 people on Choose Roselle. We have over 2,000 people on other various Roselle townspeople's Facebook groups, for example. I think the information could get out. People could watch it at their leisure. Everyone is home still because of the pandemic. We could have a follow-up. We could have an email address opened up where people can ask questions. We could have a follow-up town hall Zoom meeting where those questions are addressed. It's recorded. People could see it. It looks like early voting starts February 25th. To me, I don't see an issue with getting the information. I know since the last board meeting, I've heard from several residents saying that, we can't wait for this any longer. We need to vote on it. One of the reasons why we did want to vote on the home rule was because of the shooting over on Picton, and the residents, every meeting, that was the thing that we kept hearing about public comment on, was to ask residents whether or not we wanted to do something with home rule or not. I think in any respect, I think it's the best time to do it right now because people will be engaged. People will want to learn something more about village government, especially being at home.
Anybody else? Wayne?
Yes, I was in favor of having home rule for the village, thinking that is something that Bloomingdale bought into long ago when they had a threat, like we have had a threat. But I come to think that having this on the April ballot, it's more important for us to know what the village residents want, not just 6 people on the board and the mayor. This is a major thing. I know this is, I realize that we could put in home rule by a positive vote, but it would be nice to know, even if it doesn't pass, we can put it on the ballot again another year and a half later. But I would hate to have another incident happen in Roselle where we could say to the residents, we didn't really put in as much teeth to this thing as we could have. So I'm in favor and also in August, we said April would give the residents enough time to be educated in the home rule aspects. Many residents already know all about home rule that I talk to. And so I think there's not that much of an education that has to go down. I think the only thing that would be one of the crucial elements would be to put something in there on the taxation where we could reassure the residents that we would not be looking to gouge anyone on money. And quite frankly, and everybody on this board knows, including Todd, who's joined it and has been part of the village, the Roselle board has been mostly a very conservative group when it comes to spending money or when it comes to taxation. So I'm all in favor of trying to just leave it on April and see what the residents tell us.
Bruce?
First, I want to go on record. I'm tired and frustrated about hearing how home rule is going to solve a problem months ago of which we have not heard peep on. So we need to stop using this as an option to go in and fix some arbitrary Airbnb, Facebook posting rhetoric that's been going on. If we want to go down this path of home rule, then we need to get off of that soapbox and find out what we really want this to do. With that being said, I'm fine with going down the calendar that staff has put together under one condition. That is, they do not go in and kill themselves to try and make this thing happen, to try and get this thing through. Put it on the ballot, let it go where it goes. But if staff has to start putting in overtime or start doing whatever they have to do to try and make these commitments, because other things are a higher priority than whether or not I put a YouTube video together as to what home rule is. We had talked about doing this long ago, and it is now at this moment that we're all of a sudden now remembering that we have to do this, and there's been no action since, and none of this group here brought it up until all of a sudden we had to make a decision as to whether we put this on the ballot. So again, I'm for it. Go put it on the ballot, see how the village of Roselle reacts to it, but it cannot be at the sacrifice of our staff members and the other priorities.
Todd, I think you were next.
Yeah, I agreed partly with everybody, but I think staff is going to have to do a decent amount of educating on this, just for the fact that you're going to have outside interest groups coming in against this, and that there's going to have to be a whole lot of positive PR on what the rule actually is to counter the BS that's going to come from all these outside groups. So this isn't just put together a little webinar and be done with it. It's going to take a lot more than that to actually educate people. Everyone I've talked to only knows home rule as a money grab. So I don't agree with Wayne that everybody's educated on home rule.
I didn't say everybody. I
You
said
said-
many people that I know.
You said everybody you talk to has been educated. I have had the complete opposite, at least on my block and the people I know. They know it as a money grab, which it's not. So there has to be a lot of positive education also to counter what the outside parties are going to come in and try and spin it as. I don't think staff should be doing that right now.
Lee?
Just for clarity, Bruce, you were kind of talking about, we were talking about whether or not we want it on the ballot. We have already approved it, I believe, a couple months ago to be on the ballot. What's on the agenda today is repealing the authorization to put it on the ballot.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure that we already approved 5-1. Like I said, I was the one person that voted against it to put it on April 2021, and only because I wanted it on November. So this has been approved. It's been out there for at least a month, maybe 2 months already that we approved it. So this is really a request, I think, or something's going on where someone requested it to be on the discussion, and that's fine. That's everyone's right to have that discussed, but this is to repeal what was already approved.
So thank you for the clarity. And in that perspective, then again, for 2 months now, it's been on the ballot. And here we are now trying to make a decision as to whether we keep it on or to take it off, because it's already on, because of the fact that we don't believe that we're prepared when we had 2 months that we could have been working on this and doing other preparations in addition to what is already now being added. So from that perspective, again, I know I was part of the thing of taking it off, but you know what? Keep it on, see where it goes. I'm just worried about staff and I agree with Todd of what's going to happen. This is not going to be a slam dunk, but do what you got to do.
If I could just comment on that.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So I don't disagree with you. I think what we did say initially was, hey, this is, the village's role in this is just to give factual information on what home rule is, and the residents could make the determination what they want to do. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Attorney Knippen opined that we cannot give a opinion on sort of, like a for or against as a unit of government. We can't tell residents, oh, you should vote for this. Like, all we could do is give them factual information, and they can make the determination on whether or not they want to move forward with it. The second thing I will say is, we talk as if nothing's been done. There is a home rule resources page on the Roselle webpage. Now, granted, maybe we haven't publicized it as much, but some resources are already there, including links to the Illinois Municipal League. There's a quick 20-page PDF that has pretty big print that you could probably go through in about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to take a look at what home rule is. So their staff has already, so I want to make sure that they do get credit for the work that has been done already. So there is a page on the Roselle homepage with home rule resources.
Wayne, did you want to add something to that?
Basically, yes. What Lee said, I wanted to back up. We're not trying to convince somebody to go and vote yes for home rule. And there's going to be a naysayers coming out of the woodwork, no matter how much information we put out there, because to Todd's point, they have that one statement that we're out for money grabbing or we're out for taxation. That's always going to be the case, no matter how you could write a novel on home rule and still have that group come at us. And the other thing I would like to say is I haven't heard the staff say that they can't do this. Now, I understand manpower, woman power, people power, how much effort and how much time you can spend on different projects. But I haven't heard Jeff say, look, we're really overloaded. We need to rethink this. So why are, do you know something I don't know, Bruce? Are they really overwhelmed?
Well, I guess what I know is that this Ageris project is going to mushroom. We haven't even gotten out of the gate yet, and it's already mushrooming, and it's going to continue. This is a major undertaking that is going to require time and effort. Now, I could be wrong, and that could go as smooth as silk. And to everyone's point here about us trying to, if I was implying that I am trying to, the messaging is to try and say yay or nay to home rule, that is not the intent. But to Todd's point, there are going to be individuals and groups that are going to come out, and we are going to need to counter that information. We are not trying to make a position, and nor was I ever, I know Jim said we cannot make that, but we have to continue to provide information. If someone comes out and says that the sky is red, we need to make sure they understand it's blue and why we say it's blue. Not do one way or the other. This is the facts, and they need to counteract it, because it is going to be messages that are going to be off the cuff, things like we've been experiencing just on the simple stuff that's going on right now.
David?
Yeah, I would just say, to me, I really believe strongly in doing what we do well. And if we're not going to put and be able to do everything to our best of our abilities, what's the point of doing it? And my feeling is, after going and listening into the planning and zoning hearing for the Ageris project and hearing the dialogue and discussion that was going on amongst those commissioners and amongst the public that submitted public comment, that was what made me bring this up as a question that we're discussing today. And that was the motivation behind me asking us just to look at this. If we as a collective group say move on, I'm of the mindset of what Bruce said of, you know what, I think this is a good guide. This is the first kind of schedule we've been given at this point to help us understand what we were trying to hit. And, if we can't hit everything, then that's fine. I just feel I'd rather see us do some of these very important projects to the best of our abilities and not create additional roadblocks or work, and not be in the position where we have to say, this is a lower priority, just forget it. I really don't like that. That's personally just not my work style, but totally respect if we as a collective group want to move forward on it, that's completely fine. I think we just have to accept and understand that what Bruce is saying is the reality. This is not going to be something that would be the highest priority at the end of the day if things were to escalate. And again, my intent of bringing this is I saw the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and that made me have some concerns about how much additional effort and potential work might need to be done to communicate and engage on the community on that project. I think that's my personal priority for 2021. As much as I would love to do home rule, I think Ageris is something that's too important for us to have our time split up on. Again, if we wanted to go forward with this, I'm absolutely fine with that. I think we just have to understand that maybe some of the objectives or the communication pieces may or may not be hit. And that's a shame to suffer the final product because, we have a lot of things on the stove right now.
Barb, didn't hear from you at all.
Okay, I think home rule should be put on the ballot and let the people in the village decide what they, how they want to vote on it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
One last final comment. I think, I don't know if it was said during the call, but I know there's been other referendums that have been put out in the village. I know the pool or Kemmerling was put on multiple times, it failed, and then it eventually passed. I think right now what we were talking about doing was potentially holding off until November of 2022, which is a couple years down the road anyways. So to me, there's no risk in sort of asking residents if they want to be home rule right now. And if they vote no, we could always go back and ask again or not. So I think to me, it's very low risk. We can't ask them again for 2 years anyways. So it's not even like we could put it on the April ballot, then put it on the next ballot, and then keep putting it on ballot after ballot. We've already kind of, at least people that think we want to take it off April have already kind of said like November of 2022. So to me, at that point, you could just wait till 2023 and just put it on if it failed in April. I'd rather give the residents a chance to give feedback quicker rather than wait for over a year and a half.
Anybody else? I will say, David, you did steal some of my thunder there. I was going to say that, we've always been noted for doing them right. And as far as putting it on now, my personal feelings, as far as putting it on now and getting a negative feeling off of that, and it's not that if we didn't do our job right and not, I truthfully would rather see more time so we can continuously educate people to get a positive reaction to what home rule really is, instead of taking just a quick stab in the back, a quick stab in the night, putting it on there just to get a knee-jerk reaction. I truthfully would like to have a year and a half to really sink this in, to show the public what the advantages of home rule are, what we can do with home rule. And I just think that would be advantageous for us to do it that way. I mean, I've always gone with the direction of the board. That's my truthful feeling on it. I think you're going to get, I don't care how well we do this, I think you're going to get a negative reaction on it. And I hate to say what I'm going to say next. We didn't plan on this pandemic going this long. And I think we all thought we were going to have a little more time to do a couple things. I've talked to our neighboring mayors that had even volunteered their time to do a simple talk to tell us what the advantages of home rule are. I would like to put a program together, a good, positive, educating program together before we put it on the ballot. Just my opinion. Bruce, you had something else you wanted to add to mine, or did I?
You as David has stolen your thunder, you have stolen mine. That is where I'm at. And again, I understand, but at the same time, if there's that decision to say, no, we need to put it on because we said so, great. I just stipulate that we all agree of where this fits in the priorities in terms of the staff's time and the fact that we just don't want to overburden them on things that could jeopardize these other key 2021 projects. And as long as that's fine, and we want to go down the path of we'll deal with it as it comes up, that's, it is what it is.
Well, I'll be bold and make a statement right here. We have an excellent staff and they will do whatever we tell them to do. So
that's my problem, Andy.
I agree.
That's the problem, Andy. And I don't want that to happen.
And I know that. So what I'm asking everybody to do is just take every bit of this discussion into consideration, and I'm going to call, okay? We'll close the discussion if everybody is done here, and I will call for a motion to adopt a resolution withdrawing and repealing resolution number 2020-2298, which requests the submittal to the electorals for the village of Rosedale, DuPage, and Cook County on the referendum of whether the village should become a home rule unit.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Real quick,
Andy,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everyone understands a yay vote means that we're withdrawing it and it's not going to be on April. So if you want it to be on April, then vote nay.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct. So a yes vote is going to vote for withdrawing it from the ballot.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Icolts,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Nay.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
and trustee Domke.
Nay,
Nay or yay?
nay, no,
So I have, what did I have, 4-2?
Correct. You have 4 yeses and 2 nos.
Okay, so we are going to withdraw. Okay. Moving along, village trustees have anything to say? Yes, Lee.
I'm talking a lot today, but I do want to make a comment in terms of everything going on with the election nationally in terms of vote counting and all that kind of thing. I just wanted to share with the board and with the public that I had the opportunity to get sort of a behind the scenes look from Adam Johnson, who's the deputy clerk under Gene Kazmarek, to look at the process of verifying signatures. So I just wanted to let everyone know that, you know, when ballots came in from a mail-in perspective, signatures were looked at by 3 judges of multiple political parties, Democrat, Republican, potentially independent. Everyone had to be aligned in terms of the signature didn't match what the voting registration signature was. And if there was 3-0 votes where people agreed that that wasn't the person, they would actually separate that and segregate that ballot and reach out to the voter to have them swear an affidavit that it was them. So I just want to make sure that people in DuPage County could have full faith and confidence in the electoral process in DuPage County. That's my report.
That was great that you witnessed that, Lee. That was really great. Thank you for that information. Anybody else? Madam Clerk,
No comments.
village attorney.
Mayor, agenda item 13A, insert the phrase repealed and in front of the word rescinded in section 1. No further comments.
Okay. Village administrator,
No report.
Chamber of Commerce liaison.
yeah, I just have a message from John Dabrowski. He wants to say that many federal, state, and local authorities have considered the chamber as a source to provide timely information to the business community. This includes recommended safety guidelines and available financial resources in response to COVID-19. Also, John and the rest of the chamber would like to wish the village board a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you for all the support.
Okay, and us back to them, please make sure that message is delivered.
Yeah, will do.
And it was very sad that we couldn't have the holiday party this year. Anything else? Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, and non-controversial in nature, and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no discussion on these items. And if I can have our attorney give us a summary of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On tonight's consent agenda, we have presentation and approval of the village board minutes of November 23rd, 2020. A motion concurring in the proposal of Fire Pension Board and the village to bear their own costs and legal fees in the matter of Ryan case. The adoption of an ordinance establishing an amendment to the pay plan for village officers and employees. The authorization of a contract for SCBA units in the amount of $38,815. Authorization of the purchase of hose from Alexis Fire Equipment in an amount not to exceed $15,000. Approval of the purchase of replacement handguns and training weapons in the amount of $18,286. Approval of the purchase of data licenses from CWG in the amount of $24,443.16. The approval of the purchase of Microsoft Surface Pro tablets in the amount of $8,180.15. The adoption of a resolution approving a contract for professional services between the village and HR Green related to a proposed townhome development on Rodenberg Road, and the approval of the first and final payment of the 2020 sidewalk trip hazard removal program in the amount of $65,772. That completes the consent agenda for tonight.
Have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Icolls,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
And our motion is carried. Okay, moving on to our regular agenda under community development. Trustee Leski, we have nothing for you this evening. Under fire, trustee Eichels, we have nothing for you. Under police, trustee Domke, please.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of 24 Cradle Point wireless cellular modems for all the police and fire vehicles from SHI International Corporation in the amount of $10,000 and $10,913.52.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, Wayne, go ahead, please.
I personally like to thank Chief Herron for putting down the amount of payback, how long it will take to pay back this, which is roughly 2 years, which is not a bad investment. Plus, it's so much more efficient for safety in Roselle. You want to be having a system that's more reliable. So it's a double win, and I like specifically the way that you presented that, Chief Herron.
Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Icolls,
Aye.
And our motion is carried. Wayne?
No mas, Mater Maglio. No more.
No more. Under Public Works, trustee Berkshire, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the Beat Heat from K-Tech Specialties in the amount of $6,532.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just think this is really cool. I just think this is a cool way to innovate, and it seems, I don't know if it's actually greener, but it seems like it's greener if it's coming from beets, so.
Are the deer going to be licking it off the road? Is that going to be a problem?
Don't think so.
We've used it in Wheaton for 5 years. It's extremely effective.
That's all I want to know. Is it going to be easier on the autos?
Right.
That would be easier on our vehicles.
All right. It's money saving right there. Okay. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Icolls,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
And our motion's carried.
Okay, then I'd like to make the motion to approve the purchase of 2 tanks and 2 pumps from Argo Chem East in the amount of $11,378.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Icolls,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
And our motion's carried.
Okay, then I would like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 5 for the Devlin WWTP Influent Pump and Screening Project between the Village of Roselle and William Brothers Construction, Inc. in the additive amount of $15,483.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, a roll call, please.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Icolls,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
and trustee Poleski.
Aye.
And our motion is carried. Anything else under Public Works?
Nothing more, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the time.
Under administration, trustee Sarno.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To pass an ordinance amending a text amendment to the Roselle zoning ordinance prohibiting cannabis business establishments within the village of Roselle. We'll pass it on to Jason.
Thank you. On the board's agenda is, per your direction, is an extension of the existing prohibition on all cannabis related establishments. The prohibition currently expires, I believe, end of day today, and this would extend it now through June 28th, which is what would be the village board's second meeting in June. As outlined in the memo, staff felt a little extra time after the new board gets seated in May to get up to speed, acclimated to the issue, and staff will be prepared to bring it back again for their consideration. If in fact, then the next agenda items and the placement of the questions are on the ballot then between those results, staff would use that to bring the issue back before the board.
Questions, discussion?
No, but if we don't have a second to that motion, I'll second it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Nobody?
No.
Direct?
Looks good.
Okay.
Call a motion, Andy? Yes,
Yep.
first.
We got Barb and me. Barb and I have a motion in a second, I believe.
Yes.
Roll
Okay,
call.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Eichholz,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
And motion's carried.
Okay, next thing, consider the adoption of a resolution providing for the submission to the electors of the village of Roselle, DuPage and Cook counties, referendums of whether the village should allow the retail sale of adult use recreational cannabis and all other cannabis businesses as defined by the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act. Hand it over to Jason on this.
Yes.
So continuing the conversation of the village board from the last meeting, staff worked with Corporation Counsel Knippen on questions, kind of bifurcating retail cannabis types of businesses that are defined under that the board just approved. So question one is solely dealing with retail sale of adult use recreational cannabis. And question two, staff has drafted in a way that has all the other business establishments in there for the board to consider. And we then provided the definition sheet as well. And would turn it back then to the board for further discussion. I believe, Jim, if I'm correct, if work is needed still on any of these questions, I think the deadline would be by the first meeting in January in order to get these onto the ballot.
I believe that's correct.
Anybody? Lee?
So is this just us talking about it, or are we actually adopting this resolution tonight? Because it's a little confusing. The board action just says consider the adoption of the resolution, but then there's a resolution. So I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, 13C, Lee, is the resolution. So you'll consider whether those questions comport with your direction to staff, which I believe that they do. One is a retail question, and the other is what I'd characterize as the production side of the business. So it's kind of a wholesale question. And then when you proceed to 13C, if you adopt that resolution,
I'm not saying that 13C has, well, we talked about 13.
My apologies, Lee.
13B we're on right now. That's what I'm saying. I'm confused.
Yeah.
But Jim, it's on the agenda.
No, it's on the
final
agenda for
action.
adoption, Lee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just, in the thing, it says, in the actual PDF, it says consider adoption of resolution, but the actual agenda item is just a little confusing.
Okay, no, it is adoption.
Yeah, so I'll second the motion to Barb's motion to add this to the ballot in April.
Bruce?
Well, I'll second Lee's piece, but the second thing, then now my question or comment was, first is comment to start with. Thank you. This is exactly what I was looking for, and so it aligns perfectly. So then my question comes into order. Do we, in the way you have it, is that the way the order would be on the ballot? And if so, what is the thoughts of folks of putting the definitive, what I think is going to be the definitive no, before what I'm hoping might be a somewhat yes? So first part is that, will this be the order which it goes on the ballot, or is it just random?
I can't answer that. Can you, Patty?
No, I cannot.
I would assume, Bruce, that it'll go in the order we submit it.
Right.
Okay.
That's the higher probability than they're going to, spin a roulette wheel and try to which one goes first. So yeah, I think that if we put it in the order that it's in, that's the probability that's the way it'll be published on the ballot.
So then really it's now out to the group of my colleagues here is, what do you think about that order? I was almost kind of leaning towards two to be, flipping them around, but thoughts? You like them the way they are, David, or flipping them?
I think to your point, I think the first one's a lot more contentious than the second one. So I would be in favor of just moving 2 to be 1.
Wayne?
I believe we should be bipartisan on this issue. We should find out what the residents want us to do. We shouldn't be trying to sell either cause.
We're not. I was
Well,
just
then
asking
what's the
the order.
difference of what's the difference of what order to try to get a yes vote? I don't get
Because
I don't get the premise of what you're saying. And then the second part is, not to be smart aleck or anything, but you don't have to spend any staff time on this, do you? I mean, you're not trying to sell this. You're not going to give the pros and cons of marijuana, are you?
Oh.
Okay, I just want to be clear before I vote that I understand the whole scope of it. But we are trying to find out on these questions if we want if the residents would like to have this type of enterprise in the village or not.
Yes.
Not that we have a propensity for either decision. We're trying to find out as what a referendum really truly is it's a desire to find out what the residents would like us to do.
Lee, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in my opinion, either way, that the order of the questions, I don't think doesn't really matter. I mean, I think people know, the use of cannabis versus the growing of cannabis. So I'm kind of indifferent to that. I do just want to reiterate the notion for the public that this is also a non-binding referendum. So even if the public does vote yes to allow the retail sale of adult use cannabis, in theory, the board could still ban it. So to me, to Wayne's point, I think it's good to understand where the public is at to kind of see if there's an overwhelming support or overwhelming opposition, and then we can move on from there. But in terms of the order of the questions, I think it's irrelevant. If we want to switch them, that's fine. If we don't, we don't.
Jeff, did I ignore you? Did you have something to say?
Oh, no, I'll let Patty answer, but I'm assuming if the board is ready to adopt the resolution to do it tonight, because that gives her ample time to certify with both Cook and DuPage County clerks. So if we were to wait until January 11th, we only have a week after that before we have to file it. So Patty can answer that on her own, but I'm guessing the sooner the better.
Yeah, it has to be transcribed into Spanish. And that can take a couple weeks. So sooner, yes, is better.
Okay. All right. Are we changing the order or leaving the order? Can I have just a show of hands for changing the order?
I don't even care. I just.
1. Okay. 2. All right. So I guess nobody cares. It's gonna stay the way it is. I know there's two that do, so. We'll leave it there for now. And then anybody else have anything else they want to add? Okay,
So are we,
we're gonna vote on.
is Barb making that motion to adopt that resolution then?
That's what
Yes,
Barb is the first and you're a second.
Cool. Okay, got it.
So I need a roll call.
Okay, are we ready for roll call?
We are.
Trustee Sarno,
aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Colts,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Domke.
Aye.
Okay, and let it go to the referendum. Okay,
Next item.
Yes.
Village administrator provides village board an update and status report on the proposed East Irving Park Road Metro 19 redevelopment project. Hand it over to Jeff.
Thank you, Trustee Sarno. I won't belabor this issue any longer than I have to. But clearly we are continuing to make good progress on the proposed Metro 19 project. As you know, last month, the Planning and Zoning Commission met and have made a recommendation to the village board that you will hear soon regarding the zoning aspects of this. And then more recently, the village attorney Knippen and myself have been working with the representatives of Avgeris on the redevelopment agreement, which is kind of the side-by-side. This is the TIF public assistance parameters for what kind of deal would go with the project. We are making progress on that. We continue to make progress on the land exchange agreement with Metro that will be required to transfer land to the developer for the development. We continue to make progress on a parking lease agreement that would allow the developer to lease back parking spaces from the village in the garage for their tenant parking. And we continue to have discussions, maybe less progress with Sternberg Lighting regarding public easement and acquisition of property to make the project work. So this is a very complicated project, as you all know. And then I had the opportunity to meet with all of you individually in the past week or so, and we're discussing some of the parameters of the redevelopment agreement. And the most important thing is we've used SB Friedman as the village's TIF consultant to complete 2 TIF feasibility and analysis reports on this project. The first one was to determine whether or not the developer's request for public assistance was warranted. The second one was to determine if it was warranted, were the revenues there from increment and parking dollars available to make this work? And the answer was both on those questions. So based on that, this TIF assistance agreement, redevelopment agreement, includes acceptance of 3 public improvements. So the dollars would be used towards public improvements. The purchase of the garage that will go side by side with the residential development, the reimbursement for the sanitary sewer improvement required for development in East Irving Park Road, and the reimbursement for Rose Drive East roadway improvements to improve ingress and egress from the Metro parking lots. Based on my conversations with Mayor Maglio and all the trustees, the board is excited about this project. The board understands the TIF assistance required and would like to hear this agreement and a recommendation from the TIF Advisory Commission, which you appointed last month. So the next step in this process would be for myself and the village attorney to work with the representatives of the Avgeris to finalize a draft of the redevelopment agreement, schedule a meeting of the TIF Advisory Commission so they can review it and make a recommendation to the board, similar to what the Planning and Zoning Commission made with the planning side of things. And my goal would be to work with the attorney and get this back in front of the village board at our January 11th meeting. Based on my conversations with the board, I think that can happen. I know where the board stands on some of the parameters with the financial assistance. And I would like that opportunity to continue those discussions with the developer, working with the village attorney on that redevelopment agreement. So that can be brought forward to the TIF Advisory Commission and then eventually to the board on January 11th. Jim, have I missed anything?
I don't think so, Jeff. You covered it all.
Anybody?
Thank you.
direction.
Thank you very much. I'll continue to push for that, and we will report back to the board as ongoing discussions move on.
Hey, Jeff, I know it's I know it's a very time consuming and I know you've gotten 3 more gray hair over it, but you're doing a fantastic job with it. We can't thank you enough for representing us on it. It's unbelievable how much is involved. Thank you.
Andy. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
I have to report, Andy. That's it.
Finance. Mr. Trejo, we have nothing for you.
No, yeah, I know. I was gonna say the first time, I think.
I kept writing this down. I was ready for the bills list. I was, I'll get my speech. Okay.
We needed at least a penny.
Yeah. Other business.
All right.
Anything anybody else has got? Okay.
Real quick, I got something. One more thing. So I do have something. So I just want to say that obviously the joke was raise your hand if you're a mayor that had a lot thrown at you this year. But I do want to say that
Not me.
you've given a lot of kudos to Jeff on this call, and I just wanted to speak, at least for me personally, and I think the rest of the board feels the same way. But I just want to, towards the end of the year here, I just want to say thanks for the job that you did this year, all the different challenges that you faced, all the time that you put in to the pandemic response. I'm sure the numerous calls that you took in terms of all the time that you took to reach out to business owners, to residents. I just want to say thank you to that as well and give you a round of applause.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Andy, for everything you're doing.
And the mayor has been real fun until March. Very, very challenging. So like I say, I've got a lot of just quick decisions to make here in my future. So see what we're going to do. Okay, we want to go into executive session. We're going to go into executive session.
Motion to convene executive session.
I need a second, please.
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you. Village Attorney?
Purpose of the executive session is to discuss personnel, being the village administrator, as well as real property and setting a price for the potential sale of real property involving a public alley.
Okay. And Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call for that executive session?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Eichholz,
Aye.
trustee Poleski.
Aye.
And our motion is carried. I need a motion to adjourn from the public meeting to go to the exec.
So moved.
Second.
And on that, no final action is anticipated, Mayor.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call for the adjournment?
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Sarno,
Aye.
trustee Eichholz,
Aye.
trustee Poleski,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Public, have a good Christmas. Good night.